Welcome, everyone. Thank you for tuning in here to both our YouTube and Facebook groups. I am really excited to be able to offer this special treat for you today. If you are looking at becoming a freight broker, you definitely want to make sure you're paying attention, taking out some paper, pencil, and paper for some notes because you're going to want to connect with our special guest here, Miss Brenda Jackson with All Freight Services. And so she's going to come on and share a little bit about how she got into the business, what she does in more detail, as well as just ways that you could connect for her mentoring program. So let's introduce Miss Jackson.
Hey, you guys, how are you? This is Brenda.
All
Um,
right.
I go by Freight Lady BJ. I actually did not even create that name. It was just kind of given to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, I like it. It has a good ring to it. So anyway, nice to
Well,
be on
awesome.
here. Nice
All
to be
right.
here.
And I'm going to go ahead and let you do your thing.
Okay. Okay. Hey guys. Yeah, I've known Lotta for many years. Her kids were little. In some kind of way, we connected. She was wanting to get some information about freight. So I didn't really know her that well, but I just say, "Hey, come on over to my house. Let me talk to you a little bit." And at that time, I was a freight agent. But anyway, the reason she's got this picture up here is I didn't start out as a freight broker. I started out as a hypnotherapist. I had an office in the Dallas area, and I worked a lot with clients, kind of overcoming cold calling, smoking, weight loss, anxiety, and other issues. But my main clients were salespeople. They It's such a stressful job, and just the fact of picking up the phone, calling people you don't know, or walking in the office, calling, talking to people you don't know, caused them to have a lot of anxiety. So that was my main clients. So I did that for a while. Then after a while, people kind of wanted to get a real get fixed quick remedy, maybe take anxiety pills, do this and that. The business kind of fell off because people didn't really realize that what they needed to help them was already inside of them. Now, sometimes there are cases when people are extremely depressed, you do need medication, and that's fine too. But anyway, y'all, that's how I started. That's how I started. Okay. And then from there, I became a sales manager. Okay. I was a sales manager for Verizon, and I loved it. I loved it. It was very stressful. I worked in the Irving, Texas area, and our department did really, really good. I handled advertising and I handled marketing. And then after a few years, I got laid off. So I'm thinking, okay, so now what am I going to do now? My mom had gotten sick too. So I contacted one of my customers who was a freight forwarder that I handle his marketing and his advertising. And I said, hey, I'm going to be leaving. So it's been fun working with you guys. They're like, well, what are you doing? What are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. They said, you've been handling our marketing for a while. Why don't you come into our office and just kind of hang around and let me show you a little bit about the freight business? They said, I can't pay you, but you're welcome to come. Every day, y'all, I got there 8 o'clock in the morning till 5, and I just looked and I listened and I looked and I listened. And then I finally really started to like it. So I went to a larger company, Landstar, and I applied for a job, and they turned me down, and they said, come back after you book a book of business worth $50,000. So I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know basically too much what a freight broker is, 3PL or anyway. So I just got online and just started Googling. So I ran across this company that was in British Columbia, and I started talking to them, and I said, you know what? I might as well learn how to move Canada freight too, because I don't know how to move any other kind of freight. So one freight's just as hard as the next. So they said, okay, of course, we can't pay you. So I'm like, okay, here we go again. So they said, go get some customers. I'm like, oh, what kind of customers are you talking about? They're like, well, everything has to be shipped. So just look around your house, look in your kitchen, look on the back of canned goods, look on the back of boxes. It'll have the exact information on who is the manufacturer. I'm like, so this is going to be really great. this guy has me running around the house looking on the back of stuff. So this is what my training is going to be. Okay. So write down the 50 companies and then come back, and then we're going to start calling. That's what I did, guys. I found 2 companies in my house, R.R. Donnelly and a liquor company. Okay. So that's how my career got started. And so then I went back to Landstar. I said, hey, I got my $50,000. I mean, it's the $50,000 in revenue. So can I come and work for you guys? Because I wanted to work for a company that had all the tools and bells and whistles. I didn't want to have to copy and paste, putting things together, do this, join this organization. No. Let me learn this business first. So that's where I did. That's what I did. I got that under my belt. I was actually there a lot longer than what I thought. I was there for like 14 years because I loved it. I had a team of people that worked with me. I did some training. And then I was like, okay, I'm quitting, guys. I'm going to start my own brokerage. I'm already training brokers to be brokers. Let me get a little bit more of firsthand experience. I did it. I did it for 2 years. Woo! I did it for 2 years and I absolutely loved it. And then I was like, some of my old customers like, well, they're TSA and they're hazmat and they have bonded freight. They're like, well, we kind of just want to work with Landstar, which was fine with me. After a couple of years, Landstar recruited me back, came back, got all my old customers back. Now I've got subagents that are working under me still. And I train brand new people and I train freight brokers. Sometimes freight brokers. Sometimes freight brokers need a little help finding customers. You know, you spend all this money to get your freight broker authority, your MC goes active, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do now? So that's what I do also. Once you get that, I get on the phone with you to make some calls with you, send some emails out with you, and just kind of hold your hand. So it's my passion. I love the freight business. I just absolutely love it. So that's my story, y'all, and I'm sticking to it.
What are some
I'm
there you
looking
go,
at this
sorry.
here. It says, what are common conceptions about what you do? Okay, this is the common misconception. I will get people to join my team and they're already like, hey, I saw YouTube where you can make 6 figures in 6 months as a freight broker. That is such a misconception, y'all. You're coming into an industry, you have 0 customers. You haven't built a relationship with anybody. So you think that you're just going to walk in and make that kind of money? No, that is a misconception. So you will make great money, but you have to do the work. You have to do the work and it will come. Describe your ideal client and the next steps in working with you. Okay, so I love training. Of course, I'm still a freight agent. I love training. So my best client, of course, is a customer that has freight and willing to trust me to move it. Because remember, you're calling on people who already are happy with who they have. You're not the only freight broker in the world. So you just have to convince them that to give you a chance. Okay. So that's, you have to be good in sales. It's best to be good in sales because you're going to get a lot of rejection and that's okay. Okay. So that's the best type of client for me as a customer. And then as far as the students, just a student that has a positive attitude, guys. You know, this is hard work. You can't make 30 calls and then depressed, like, oh my God, nobody wants to talk to me. I don't understand. They're not returning my calls, blah, 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 blah. Your calling companies, they're very busy. They have a job. They're doing a lot of work, you know, and here you come ringing the phone. It's like, okay, so who is this? You have to just have some good endurance, a positive attitude. You have to be able to, you know, want to make this work. And that's the best client for me. I don't care if you had any experience in trucking. If you got a great attitude and just the ability to want to learn and high energy, we'll worry about getting the experience in the freight brokering, but that's the main ingredient.
Now that's awesome. That's awesome. So we have quite a few eyeballs here with us live. So we want to give everyone the opportunity. I seen that Nathan was on and Coach Snow. There we go. I'm sorry. So they had mentioned some things, but if you have a question for BJ while she is here, since you did tune in live and in person, you're not watching this later on the replay, we want to give you that opportunity to do so. Now, great information and very encouraging, BJ, because as I was starting my journey and didn't even know we'd end up years later here, like you said, my kids were young, and I still keep a lot of your trainings, and I took one of your trainings in recent years too. So I kept all that to heart. And even though I'm not directly in the freight brokering component, being in the insurance component, knowing how to cover cargo, we also cover freight brokers too. A lot of what you showed me and told me way back then makes sense today. So I just want you guys to know the relevance of her experience, as well as just this is stuff that is all around us and we don't really realize, like she was saying, literally in your kitchen, your bathroom, anywhere turn around and look, is a distribution center's information. And it's very doable, very doable. So just opening up the line here if you had any other questions. But while we're waiting on some questions, BJ, what are some other things? I know the big climate right now, to be very relevant, is that, rates suck. So do you want to address that and kind of just even what to expect in working with a freight broker in case someone's not looking at becoming a freight broker, but how do you interact with the broker?
Okay. Okay. As far as the rates go, yes, like you said, the rates suck. Okay. But have you ever gone out on the highway and not seen 18 wheelers? Freight is moving. I mean, it may be the rates may not be good, but in any type of business, it never stays up here. If you're in business, it's down, it's middle, it's up, it's down, it's middle, it's up. But as long as you're in the industry, that will never go away. Freight will never go away. It's not like a company is going to close down. Yeah, a trucking company may close down, a broker may close down, but freight is here to stay. So I feel very confident because I've seen it all different types of ways. Okay. Business 101.
Yeah, Business
So
101.
another thing is, as far as you were saying, that as far as becoming a freight broker or freight agent, is that what you said, Lana? Lana?
Just how do you interact with the freight broker?
As what?
Sorry. I'm trying to hide back off. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So if I'm a carrier and I'm looking for loads, what is that experience going to be like?
Okay. First of all, there's always a little friction, you guys, between the brokers and the carriers. If you guys are on any Facebook groups or in the industry, you know that. And the reason is because the customer gives us a freight for a certain amount, and then we give it to the carrier for a certain amount. We're not doing it for free, and neither is the carrier. Okay. So as long as you pay a carrier good, what the carrier is worth, then you will always have a good relationship with your drivers. Now, if the customer pays you a lot, you can pay the carrier a lot. But when the customer's not paying you that much, you can't pay the carrier as much as you want to. So your commissions, because freight brokers, freight agents, we're straight commission. Your commissions go down when your customers stop paying you more. And I see in the Facebook groups all the time, this broker's keeping all the money. This broker's not paying what she should, blah, blah, blah. But what I don't see is this customer just dropped my rate $500 and I moved this exact same load 30 days ago. That's what you don't see. And that's what happens. So as a freight broker, you just kind of like, okay, you're sympathetic toward the driver because the driver is the most important thing in this whole scenario, y'all. Without a driver, there is no freight moving anywhere. So as long as you pay drivers what's fair, and also there will be a time when you book a load and something happens to the truck breaks down or something, and you got to go right back to a driver and be like, look, I'm in kind of a bind here. Can you help me out a little bit? They will, because you've been very fair to them. So, my hope and my dream is that one day the drivers and the brokers, we will all kind of be on the same team. But I understand when you've been lied to and gypped and stuff like that, that it is hard to, trust again, because this is a big, big field.
Absolutely. And thank you for, just explaining that, because sustainability is actually my word for 2024. And it's because, especially in this environment, just think about it. You are literally paid per stop, right? Your business is to keep going, keep doing this again, rinse and repeat. So unless a company is financially sustainable, which means they'll be around tomorrow, the next day, couple years down the road, right? That is how you curb and you start having better rates. It's that trust factor. But if I have to do something again all the time from scratch, that's where all this other pieces in the economy come into play, and that's when rates get high. We just came out of COVID, right? We came out of the pandemic, and the warehouses, shippers, distributors had to adjust. Everybody had to adjust. And so kind of what happens with a flood of carriers, and I'll speak again from the insurance desk, that's really what's got some of this stuff looking the way it is. So to understand business, as she said earlier, is or someone else mentioned too, business 101. It's the economy of scale. It's something that you want to track, you want to look at, but you also want to know how to maneuver within. Because just complaining about it doesn't get you any further than where you need to be. You have to be lean, you have to have those relationships. And as we all get back on our feet, get back on steady ground, that's when your rates are going to look better. That's when, companies are going to be profitable. Just watch the news and you'll see how to move from there. That's mine, because I hear that a lot too. On the insurance side, insurance is one of the highest costs. It is, because there was a lot of loss between people not finishing out. That's a loss. Between people having wrecks, that's a loss. But there's a lot of loss and nobody's in this. Carriers, brokers, drivers, no one's in here to try to lose. So hopefully we all can come together, have conversations like this, have an understanding of what the other side goes through and what is the expectation, and respect it at the end of the day. We want BJ to be around. We know that she, understands the business, isn't going to be there to really shortcut. It's not really, I looked at the word and I saw the word really, so that didn't come out right. She is not going to shortcut us, but she is going to make sure that, and I'm trying to move this around here real quick to make sure we can see this. I'm sorry. It didn't pop up just right. I could read it because this little blue screen is on here too. But she's going to hold your best interest at heart. And that's the fundamentals of a relationship, romantic, however else you want to business. When you can trust someone to know and have your better, your best interest at heart, that's when, trust is established. But BJ, there's a question. Can you see it? Should we actually find a niche as a freight broker, or would we be limiting ourselves?
Okay, it depends on what you like to do. Since everything has to be shipped, say, for example, if you have a customer that has flatbed freight, that's great. You might want to stick with flatbed freight. It does pay a little bit more. Okay. But now what happens if that same customer asks you this question, which did happen to me when I first started? Do you know anybody that can move van freight? So there you go. Me, I can. So you have to be completely open, especially in this market the way it is now. Now, years ago, a lot of times people did get a niche. I'm going to move this freight. I'm going to move this. Stay with that. So it's good to be an expert in some freight. Like I like TSA freight. Um, I like high value freight. One of my customers actually is Hennessy Remy. So that's very high. It's not really high value. Some of it is, but it's a more of a high risk. So I know how to move that freight. I know how to move freight going to the airport. I know how to do that. So that's my niche. But I've opened myself up to other areas. And if a tank needs to be moved, yeah, I know how to move that too. If I need to move canned goods to the grocery store, I know how to do that too. So you're going to automatically find one thing that you really, really, really like to do. Hit it, but then open up yourself to other areas too. I hope that answered your question.
I think that was a wonderful answer. That's niche right there. You won't really know
Yes.
what you like until you discover what you don't, and the other way around. You could go in there and say, what's the highest value? But you might not even like putting the time in getting that type of freight. You might not have a good understanding of what it's going to take to actually do it. So don't just go for the biggest bang for the buck, because there's a reason that it's a big bang for the buck. You might not
Exactly.
want that buck again, pretty much. But now this has been great, and so diversity is key. Thank you, Nathan, for being engaging. And as we are closing out here, because we want to make sure that engagement stays high with everybody who watches this on YouTube University, right? Can you give us some closing remarks and points of things that someone who is considering a career in freight brokering, considering working with you, and maybe just on the fence right now? Can you give them some words of encouragement, please?
Sure. Okay, guys. We train a lot of trucking companies, and the trucking companies have been working with freight brokers for years. So they are basically ready to get their own broker authority because they know both sides very, very well. So they just need a little bit of training to be a freight broker, but they're ready. They're ready. Most of them are very financially secure. They can get their bonds, their MCs, their surety. I mean, just everything, all type of insurance. So yeah, go for it. Now, if you don't have the experience, I would become a freight agent because you don't want to mess up that MC, guys. That is like gold. You're going to get an MC number and mess up. Maybe, say, for example, you may send a driver 2,000 miles to deliver at a port and he doesn't have the right qualifications. The port's not going to take him. So now you got to pay him to go back, find a warehouse or something. You don't pay a carrier as a broker, and they will come after you. You have worked too hard for that MC. Don't get yourself in that situation. So I'd say work for a broker, work for an agent. The program that I offer is this. I do train freight brokers to be freight brokers. I do help freight brokers that are already freight brokers get customers. Okay. I also allow you to work under me as a subagent. Okay. And what is involved in that is I work with you to help you get customers. I assist you with getting leads. We've got a great system where we can give you the company name, what the email address, the person that handles the shipping, their cell phone number, their business number. Yeah, we'll help you with that too. But I also want to teach you how to hustle. I want you to learn how to realize that everything you are surrounded by freight. Everywhere you go is freight. I know I've been accused of probably trying to steal something out the store because I'm trying to look and see who's on the back of it, who the manufacturer is. But you will get consumed with this business. And guys, I'm telling you, it is a great business to be in. And as Lot has probably noticed, I have not been on maybe one other podcast because I'm not going to embellish. I'm not going to tell you a lie. I'm going to tell you exactly the way it is. I'm not going to tell you and show you all these boats and houses and this and say, come on board and make 6 figures, make 7 figures in a year. No, I'm going to tell you, if you work hard and you get a plan every day, a routine, and you do it without failure, and you keep a positive attitude, you will be successful in this business. And
Well,
that's my
that's
story, and I'm sticking to
sticking to
it.
it. No, I love it. I love it. The hustle is sold separately. Uh, so many people, I just actually had someone ask me today, just, hey, if I do this, what's the results? And I'm like, only God knows, right? Because that's
That
what
is
you have
very
to be able, sustainability, that's my word. You have to be able to do whatever it is you did again and again, and it's going to have different results. It's
and,
going to.
and
It's
my word is execute. It's like
execute. Yes,
execute. You could
that's a good one.
it's organized and have the nicest desk and the biggest spreadsheet, color coded and blah blah blah. It looks beautiful, but if you have not picked up that phone, you did not execute. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Analysis paralysis. Don't do it, you guys. Don't do it. No, the future is bright. You have to be able to just know which way the sun is. Is it a setting sun? Is it a rising sun? What time are you looking at? Because the sun is going to continue to rise and fall, rise and fall. And so if you're always just waiting for it to be nighttime, you're waiting for things to end and you're not preparing for the next day. And so prepare for the next day. Change your mindset, be positive, get a mentor, get the experience, put all these things together, and you guys make it yours. That's kind of my ending word. My own lane, make it yours because that's really all you can do. That's the one thing, no matter if Amazon caught hold of your secrets and what you wanted to do, they can't do you. Only you can do that. So hopefully this was beneficial for you guys. Thank you so much, BJ, for getting on. I am going to commit to a cadence of one interview a week. So if you'd like to come on and share your gems about the trucking industry from your seats, whatever, a driver, a dispatcher, freight broker, owner, operator, a spouse, we want it all. We want to be able to give you as much insider's view of the industry as you need to be successful. But thank you again. Make sure that you visit the All Freight Services LLC.com website that's kind of going across the top. And stay tuned for more videos, more interviews with Mile Lane Consultants. Thank you.
You
Have a
John.
good one.
Bye bye.
Bye.